Yes. We are back on Learner Spectrum, and we'll start by congratulating every one of us that is listening to us today. We want to say happy independence to everybody that is listening to us. Yesterday was our independence. Nigeria clocked 63, and the journey has been interesting one, right from 1960. Nigeria has had its first share. We have our ups and downs, and but we thank God we are still one. But that's just the beauty of being a Nigerian. We are one people, one person, one family, and one blood. And God will uphold this country. We will live bigger, better, and will enjoy the fruits of this country. It has not been easy, we know. Things are a little bit on the good side. Don't let me use any negative words about Nigeria, because a 63-year-old man or woman is no more a baby. But we pray this country will grow further and further. So without wasting much of our time, we are starting our program, the Learner Spectrum, and then like we say, we talk about education, talk about tourism, we talk about entrepreneur, entertainment, and we also talk about many other positive info that will benefit us back home. And then we're going to be starting with the tourism updates. What is happening in the world of tourism? This past week, we celebrated World Tourism Date. We want to apologize before we even go ahead that last week we made a mistake with the dates. The date that the World Tourism came off. We gave a very wrong date, and for those that listened to us last week, we really apologized. The World Tourism Day came up on the 27th of September 2023, and it was hosted by Saudi Arabia for this year. And the theme for this year was tourism and green investments. Tourism and green investment. Of course, we have our own share. For people that follow up with tourism news, there are some people that went on road walk. There was symposiums, there were talk shows on tourism and green investments, and a lot of things came up during the tourism. Although, because we had a new industry, when I say industry, the new ministry, at least in the history of Nigeria, this is the year that Ministry of Tourism was carved out from other perspective, and we give that kudos to our able President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for carving out tourism and making Ministry of Tourism to stand alone. Sincerely, tourism have a lot to offer for we Nigerians. And then if you look at the global trending, countries that are doing well in terms of finance and well-being, most of them are tourist country. Of course, we know United States is one of the biggest tourism destination. But if you look at other countries that are into tourism, all of them are doing very well, in the sense that they see tourism to be one of the biggest. In fact, tourism happens to be the highest employer of labor globally. And tourism brings a lot of investment to a nation. If you look at Nigeria, we are complaining that the exchange rate, this, that. The mistake I think our leaders are making was that we are focusing more on oil, gas, and every other thing. But I can tell you for free that tourism itself generates more income even than oil. I always say that tourism happens to be an untapped gold mine in Nigeria. It's still fresh, it's still crude. It's just like discovering oil. And Nigeria have a lot to offer when it comes to tourism. In fact, God has blessed Africa generally to be a tourism hub, because all our tourism sectors and most of our tourism gifts that God gave to us are all natural. Talk about the splendid vector of the waters. Talk about the mountains, the bush, everything that you can think of, we have it. These are things that money cannot buy. That's why I say with Nigeria and Africa generally as what we call natural tourism. You can't compare us with countries like Dubai. Of course, Dubai is making good income on tourism, but they are making their own tourism because most of their tourism sectors are artificial. We're talking about Burj Khalifa. It was built by money, this thing. But you can't compare it to those who have natural tourism. If you look at Saudi Arabia, they are enjoying what we call religious tourism. Because when it comes to Hajj and Umrah and all those things, people travel from all over the world to Saudi Arabia to enjoy. But if you look at if you talk about Africa now, South Africa, Morocco, Egypt, and Rwanda, they are making waves in the tourism world because they are all okay. If you want to look at Morocco, for example, they have all this what we call this artifacts, all those ancient, all those symbolic ancient monuments. It's attracting tourists to that country. If you look about South Africa, they have this natural beauty the ocean line, they build coastal side, they have the rift, everything you can think of is attracting tourists to that country. So Nigeria, we should start looking inward. Of course, we have our own negative shares because of the the crisis, the insecurity, the tourism, and the Boko Haram and things like that. But to God be the glory, things like that are dying down. That's the good thing. And this is the best time for us to encourage, improve, invest, and even reinvest in tourism. I can bet you, if we get our acts right in Nigeria, tourism will generate more income than even oil and gas. And that's why I'm using this medium to call on our relevant agencies and government to please look deep into the tourism world. Plan with the stakeholders, collaborate with stakeholders that are in the industry and they are in the tourist industry, and see how we can develop this tourism sector. I can bet you, once we start investing heavily on tourism, we're going to get a return on investment. Many people want to visit Nigeria. Nigeria happens to be a very multi-dynamic nation. Imagine we're having over 200 languages, 200 tribes living together in peace and harmony. Those are things that can also attract people. So I want to stop on that. We should look into the tourism. Another news I have about the tourism news is it's about this our new minister. We don't know what really happened, but it was should I call it a rumor now? But it was speculated on news, I think Vanguard News last week, September 29, about our Minister of Tourism. I'm talking about the person of Madam Lola Adejohn. Although it has been debunked because there was a news that was going on that she was poisoned, which of course me myself I find it a little bit. But thank God the people, as in the our subordinates, came out to speak about that she wasn't poisoned. It was just a malaria, according to what the assistant director of press in the ministry said. I'm talking about Madam Miriam Offiong. She has debunked the claim that the minister was poisoned, but confirmed that she had malaria. She was treated and she's been stabilized, and I'm sure she's getting better now. So we pray for her anywhere she is, that she a quick recovery, because she's a sound woman. She's someone we really needed in that industry to make positive change. So we are sending our goodwill message to her anywhere she is, that she should please get well, get back on her feet, and make tourism. I know she has a lot to offer. That I know for sure. So she can take us to that promised land when it comes to tourism. We'll go on a very short break now. When we come, I think that's what we have on tourism, so we can even move to the next segments.